Hi guys, welcome to another video of the GLC restoration. It is now the next weekend and through the week we've managed to order some parts. Today we're gonna be doing an assembly of the interior. We're gonna change the rear seats, the rear seat belts, and we're gonna look at assembling the rear plastic covers, and so we can finish with all the interior. And then we're gonna continue with the disassembly of the front end radiator pack and everything remaining on the front end. So stay tuned and I hope you enjoy. In the last video we collected the GLC and we managed to take it off from the truck platform without too much of a hassle. We started taking off the blown off airbag on the steering wheel and the knee airbag in the footwell. We removed the front bumper, the headlights, and we started stripping off the slam panel assembly, leaving the almighty radiator pack for the last. Unfortunately, we believed the radiator was full of aircon gas, so we left it behind. Let's change that in today's video. We have just arrived at the garage and today's plan of attack would be the rear seat and taking off the rear seat belts. We noticed that they were locked, so we'll take it off and send it off for a resetting, or we'll see and try to find the new ones if we can. If not, we'll just see which one is the cheaper option and then we'll go with this one. We noticed something yesterday when we were moving the car. I'll show you guys in a minute, but I think it'll be very interesting for a lot of people because I think it's a common issue and it can be easily addressed. We are giving the car another jump start because we found an issue, and the issue I was going to tell you earlier about is that we believe that the pyro fuse is gone because every single time we start the car runs actually on alternating current, which means there is zero connection with the battery. The whole point of the battery is to eliminate this alternating current, so the alternator recharges the battery stores the energy, and then it translates it to the car in the form of direct current. So as you can see, we're just hooking it up. A pyro fuse is fundamentally the main switch between your car's battery and the rest of the electrical system in the car. In an event of a crash, the SRS module usually activates the pyro fuse and it explodes simultaneously with the airbags. This is done in order to stop any electricity running through the vehicle, so if any cables are crushed and shorted, there won't be any electricity on them to generate a spark and cause fire. Some of them are completely shutting off the entire electrical systems, whilst others just cut the power to the starter motor. The fact that there was zero connection with the battery and the car was relatively new to have a completely drained battery fooled me into thinking that the pyro fuse was playing games on us. So I looked everywhere, inside every fuse box, but I still couldn't find it. I decided to test every single connection in every single fuse box there is on this car. So I tested and I tested and I tested, but there seemed to be no explanation. I decided I was going to come back tomorrow, determined to resolve this electrical issue. Of course, only after a night full of googling, I decided to move to the next task, something I am more familiar with, like breaking plastic clips. Okay, so we've got our essential tools, basically the way to start. Okay, so another issue, in order to drop down the seats we need electricity, which we don't have right now. So what we're gonna do is we are going to put some electricity just to drop this down without starting the car, and then we'll continue. We start the removal process by taking off the scuff board. We then move to undoing two bolts which are located under the plastic covers of the metallic luggage hooks. We then use a plastic trim tool to pry off the corners and the locations with the clips. You then have to undo the seat belt from the bottom side, which similarly to the top side is held by a bolt and a small clip to line up the openings. To get to the bottom of the seat belt attachment, you have to remove the rear cushion seat. Okay, so a little bit of an update. We managed to remove the trim. So we are going to remove the seat belt now, which you can see just there. And then we're gonna move to the other side. The rear Corsa trim panels are usually one big assembly, but if you look closely, you're most likely to find that they are actually split and you don't have to dismantle as much. Of course, this was a lesson I learned the hard way, but I did better with the other side. So there is a clip on there, which clips on this side, and then you do one bolt here, and that's it. The split lines of the trims are usually where the material changes from pile fabric to solid plastic, and they are joined with hooking features like this. We open the trim just enough to change the seat belts. I have just realized something. We've been looking for the wrong thing. The pyro fuse is not gone. It's actually the battery, and I'll show you in a minute. After countless hours of looking for the pyro fuse, which we thought was just here initially. So this turned out to be actually the pyro fuse, but we didn't believe it at first, so we googled and googled and googled. So this thing is actually okay, and what we realized just after a few hours of looking for the fault, why the car wouldn't even fling, you know, not even a single light, is that the actual battery is showing 5 volts. This means this battery is dead. So what we've got now, brand new battery, which we are going to put inside just now. So with this battery, the car would light up correctly. So lesson number 1, always check the simplest of things before you spend hours looking for the complicated reason. So people, don't do rookie mistakes like me. I admit, last weekend I took apart every single fuse box there is on this car to find the pyro fuse, and finally it turned out to be just as close on the positive terminal on the battery. So always keep that in mind. New battery is in. Next thing is this is actually an air filter. Okay, and then finally it is there we go, one thing done. Plan for today is assembling of the rear seats and then all of the interior and the back, and then we're gonna do the new airbag on the front. Okay, so right rear seat attachment. So there is a little clip that goes inside here, and then we have the bolt. Okay, and then finally it's the little clip inside that goes in like this, and then you press. So as you can see, it comes in like that. And there you go, we now have a fully working rear seat belt. So we move. Okay. Just double checking all the connections. Interior trim piece is on. The next thing we do is tighten these really long M8 bolts or M6, not sure, E45.
So we bring the seat, rear seat.
Okay, so rear end is done. You can be safe at the back. The next thing to do is the knee airbag. Don't forget to detach, disconnect your battery when you are working on airbags. So knee airbag is done. The only thing left is to do the steering wheel airbag, and then we're done with the interior. So what we are going to be doing next is we have to take all of the modules from the old headlight and put it onto the new, and hope, fingers crossed, that it will work. If not, we will have to code it or program it to work. There are two modules which have to be transferred, but be careful with the connectors as they have a self-locking bracket which has to be opened all the way back, and if the pins are not lined up correctly, they are very easy to get bent. Next, we put on the headlight to check if we did a good job. And we have! The next thing we're gonna do is the radiator pack. First step is removing the under tray, and then the aircon radiator was an easy job. I decided to put some masking tape on the open pipes to keep it safe from the elements and debris. Okay, it is now the next day and we are going to do what we couldn't do yesterday, and this is the water radiator. So yesterday we managed to take off only the AC, the aircon radiator, which was already broken, and today we are taking all of the liquids, the cooling liquids out, and we're gonna remove all of the radiators, and then this is the last thing. We'll probably disassemble before the new parts start to arrive. So let's start. Removing the water radiator and the intercooler radiator was a challenge of its own. Although from factory the hoses use a quick release joints, they get terribly stuck due to the constant heat variation. In our case they were so stuck I actually ran out of memory to film it. An advice I can give to everybody is to spray some WD-40 in the channel of the metallic locking pin, as well as anywhere else you could possibly have access to. And then the magic happens when you actually push the pipes together as strongly as you can, and only then start to pull them apart. Thank me later. Okay, so we're done with the interior. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure that you hit that thumbs up button, you hit that subscribe button, and share with all of your friends. And I see you in the next episode.